I have to admit, you're living my nightmare with the traveling and working at the same time, because I just cannot imagine doing that. When I do it, I either cannot work or I cannot travel properly. This is just a nightmare for me. How do you do it?
I know what you mean, and also I also been there. When you have this mentality of one fixed place, and you have like a base, you have your home, and then you go to a vacation, like 1 week or 2 weeks, concentrated maybe once, two, three times a year. Then yeah, you want to like just stop any communication with your work, clear your mind, and enjoy the vacation. But when you leave the travel, it becomes a bit different. You just you kind of settle down in a place. You become half a local, kind of, in a way. You don't rush to see every touristic site every day, all the time. So it's a different mentality. I just have the weekends I go to a new place rather than go to my local bar. I go to a new bar in a new city, in a way. So it's just like a mentality switch, and when you do it like after a couple of months, couple of years, you just get used to it. And to be honest, I'm kind of saturated at this point of like new things. So I'm kind of like, this a nice view. Okay, this is a nice place to go. It's okay, I guess. So it also has like these disadvantages.
So basically, you're working in the city. Are you working full time and traveling, or how does it work?
Yeah, full time.
Full time. Crazy. Okay.
Even
all right.
more than full time.
More than full time.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on, so yeah.
Crazy. So a lot of things. So you basically joined this company, B Connect, right? Is that
Yes.
correct way? Okay, B Connect.
Exactly, yeah, B Connect.
I think I mentioned it like this B Connect. It's written in the way that I really want to pronounce it like in my Ukrainian way, with the like B being like V, what we say instead of B. Who actually like that? So basically, you're part of this company, but you're not one of the co-founders, right?
No, it was founded by the two founders, Mandy Grant and Gil Zilberstein. They've been partners for, I don't know, I think 2015, 2017 maybe. And I joined 2021, so at the end of 2021.
I just wonder if the name actually had this kind of like idea in mind, with like being this B Connect as like, I don't know, Connect or something.
No, neither of them is Russian or like East European, so I don't think they even know that platform.
I see.
It's like, I think it means to be connected, right? Like to connect the human to the technology, to be connect.
That makes sense. Be Connect. Right. I never noticed that. Okay, good. And you're responsible for the whole delivery, basically, for this company, right?
Yes, I'm the head of operations, and I'm in charge of making sure that the customer gets what they pay for, basically, right? So the projects are going smoothly. The delivered product is high quality, scalable. They get all the materials they need to maintain on their own if they need to, or anything like that. So yeah.
And it's crazy that your wife works with you within the company, right?
How do you know that?
Well, I'm a little bit of investigator, when I prepare for the podcast.
You've done some, PI work. So my wife is a freelancer UX UI designer, and she also builds websites on Webflow platform. And our company is one of our clients. So yeah, we get to work together.
I see. No, I just wanted to know how it is like to work with basically with a family member, basically because I could not imagine to work with someone who is close to me.
We barely work together, to be honest. We do have some things that we work together, but mostly she works with Mandy, the co-founder, about the website, the marketing side of things. And the UX UI, when we have a project, like for example, recently we did a project with Titan, It's a platform to like to extend Salesforce for external users, kind of like Experience Cloud, but a bit more dynamic and flexible. And she did the design, the UX UI, like what goes first, where are the buttons, how to enhance the user experience, and then we implemented it. So yeah, I mean, I don't do that. So, and I don't instruct her; she instructs me. So it works out.
I think what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, like, I read a bunch of your posts. Obviously, I've been reading them for a very long time, and I wanted to talk to this like journey of basically working like in just working in US, right? That was your place before you went into the being digital nomad. So working there, then kind of making the decision to actually stop working there and like going the crazy digital nomad life and quitting the job and like starting all the other things, because I think this is what a lot of people actually would love to do, but they just don't have the something prevents them, right? So how was it for you? What made your decision basically to go work as a digital nomad?
Yeah, it's a tough decision to just stop your whole routine, stop your whole way of living, and shift it completely. Leave your country, leave your job, leave your career. There were a bunch of things that got us to this decision. First of all, I decided that I'm tired of my previous career. I was in the military, and I felt like a little peon in the system. I don't do any impact, and things are just running, like they always used to. It's very traditional, and I got to a point where I was like saturated from it. And I know some people like it. I have many good friends still there and enjoying and making a great impact, but it just wasn't for me. The second thing is that we were living in a rented apartment. Our landlord decided that he wants us to move out so his mother could go in. And it wasn't it wasn't in a bad terms. Like, it wasn't kicking us out, but it was asking like, hey, like my mother, elderly, she wants to live. I want her to live in my apartment. Is that okay? So that was the second thing. And we always have this, dream of traveling the world. So all things. So we said, okay, we have no home, we have no job. What's a better time than now? So we took all our stuff, put it in the storage, and flew to Mexico. That was our first destination. I'm here as well right now, but I like in between I've been moving around a lot. But Mexico was our first destination, and we didn't really have a plan. We just said, okay, let's live off of savings. Let's allocate like 6 months, 8 months of savings. See how it works. See what kind of jobs are out there that we can leverage. Worst case, we go back to what we just did. Like this is like, okay, so we lost 6 to 8 months of savings, and we'll recover from it. Like it's not a big deal. So luckily it worked out. I haven't really heard about Salesforce before, but Gil reached out to me after I posted some post on Facebook, actually, saying that I'm looking for a remote work, and introduced me to Trailhead, showed me like the admin module, do this, and we can talk about you joining the company, and that's what happened.
So at the same time, you quit your job and you started learning Salesforce and trying to get the first Salesforce role.
Yeah, I had no experience whatsoever in no, IT space, nothing. I asked people, what can I do remotely? And that was the first answer. I looked into it. I liked what I saw. And honestly, to do the Trailhead modules of admin was a bit boring. And I was considering like, okay, this is how it looks. So this is nuts. Like who wants to do this his whole life? But luckily, the job is not like a Trailhead module. So I passed that and it worked out.
You did the Trailheads, and then how long did it take until you actually got like into the first projects, working for the first clients?
So it took me about 2 months to get the admin certification, and it was intensive 2 months. Then
Yeah.
BConnect hired other people in this between the time I was talking with Gil and the time I finished my certification. So they didn't have room for me. So I decided, okay, I looked for another Salesforce job. It was super hard to find a remote place with no experience, nothing but an admin certification. So I decided to shift, and that's actually might be interesting for you because I decided to shift to be a developer. And I started to learn coding. I did a Udemy course of what's her name, Angela Wu, I think. It's a fantastic
Okay.
Udemy full stack course, and I finished it all. I learned the basic of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, a bit of security, all of that. But it was very, it's a Udemy course. How much can you get out of it? It didn't, change my life, but okay, I had the basic. But then when I finished it, Beacon had a place for me. So I started as a QA tester. And very quickly, within, 2 3 weeks, I became an admin. And then I got some experience, and I very quickly, became more and more senior very quickly.
Did you also then switch at some point into development, or was it more of a like just a side quest?
I was curious and hungry to learn the development side of it. Seeing the back end, this silly little Udemy course gave me a lot of foundation, like background of development, and I could read code. Suddenly, it's not that scary. Suddenly, going into the developer console or opening VS Code or troubleshooting a debug log is not that complicated. It's not all syntax I can't understand, or it's not Chinese. So yeah, I started like, okay, I want to take more responsibilities, and I asked our developers, okay, the next simple task that you have, let me do it. And then I did start to do all kinds of Aura components back then, and then fixing all kinds of small bugs, or doing my first schedule class and stuff like that. But I never really transitioned fully to become a developer. I never did it. And honestly, nowadays I can talk with my developers about best practices, development best practices, but I can't say nothing about their quality of code. To me, it's way more important, okay, to know that, okay, let's make this queuable and not on the trigger, for example, or let's do it a batch class and not queuable, and so on, based on the volume, or let's why everything is on this class, let's break it down. I have this object-oriented programming principles, like the solid principles and all of that. I understand that. Can I do their job? No, no, I can't. But I can talk with them. I can instruct them, and I can give them feedback.
You know just enough basically to work with them, right? You know enough to be leading them
Exactly.
basically.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy? So now you're more in a like management position, right? Rather than being like super hands-on. Is
So,
that right?
well, not really. I still am very hands-on.
Not really.
We're a small company, so we do. I do everything, and I also manage other consultants, admins, and developers. But I also doing those roles myself to some capacity. So I also am acting as a consultant / BA. I don't know. The line between BA and consultant in Salesforce is very thin, so I like to call it customer lead. I'm also being a customer lead. I'm also implementing and also manage others. So I know it sounds a lot, but I don't do all of them all the time. Okay, there's some balance between them.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the reality of like smaller companies. My first Salesforce role was like in a relatively small company, like let's say 10 people in total. And oh my god, it was crazy. Like it was crazy. everyone was doing everything. I was doing sales, consulting, development, marketing, shooting videos, everything.
Taking the dogs out and feeding the hamster, all of that.
Yeah, going to Egypt on vacation with the boss as well.
That's a nice perk.
But that was that was quite a crazy experience. So basically, this BConnect, is this like Israeli company or
No, it's
more
a
like
US
US
company.
company?
Based in Florida. We have, well, Mandy is in Florida, Gil is in Canada, in Montreal. So we're a North American company.
All right, got it. All right, now I understand
Yeah.
it better. All right, see, I could not. I could research enough to get that you're working with your wife, but not the full
You
picture.
should pay more to your investigator. Or fire him.
That's true. Considering I'm my investigator, so I agree with paying more. All right. Anyway, so but like the thing is the same. I think it's pretty much similar to all people, right? Europe, US, Israel, Australia. What do you think people need to be able to do to start this whole digital nomad thing in Salesforce?
Okay, so first step is to believe it can be a reality. And that's like I think it's the biggest barrier for most people, right? I think 80% who pass that, it's the next steps are easier. Getting out of your skin and understand like, okay, this is something that I can achieve is the first step. Then you need to obviously get yourself into a position where you can work remotely. You don't have to be dependent in a physical location. So Salesforce is a great option, but there are many others. Development in general is a great option. Marketing, I see many marketing agencies, workers that travel the world. Copywriting, ghostwriters. There are so many like designers, right? There are many jobs that can be done remotely. Not necessarily freelancing, but just remotely. Now, if you are already in the industry, that's great. If not, you need to learn it. So you really need to do that something you're passionate about, something that you can commit to. That is something you can do on a daily basis and really have this hunger to learn more. Okay, because just having the minimum requirement, it will give you the minimum results, right? And that's not what you're looking for. So you have to be exceptional in a way. I think what really helped me is to be. I mean, I know that I'm in a disadvantage point, right? First of all, I'm not native. I'm a native English speaker. I'm not physical location. I'm not in a specific physical location where I can go to places around and talk with people, and I have to compensate of that. So compensate by skill, by being 10x better than your competitors, and how you can do that by learn more than them. Go listen to podcasts or read blogs, subscribe to newsletters, and search on the internet, do Udemy courses, do professional courses, go to communities, learn all the time. Like I'm kind of addicted to some extent with Salesforce related stuff. I have this Notion page where I store so much things that I see on LinkedIn or on blogs, all kinds of tricks that I can, use to give value to my customers, or just if I had to build my own portfolio and stuff like that. So have this hunger, this passion is really important, and just be better than everyone else. You have to beat them, right? And you can only do that by committing and by putting the effort.
How do you become better than everyone?
So I think what I just said is to me, this what worked for me, to just have this non-satisfied hunger to learn more. Ask questions all the time. Okay, you see something, a process, somebody who's senior than you, or someone post on social networks or a blog, and you ask why did he do that? Why did he use this method? Why did he use this process and not that one? When you see something you don't know, like you open, for example, a flow, and you see this checkbox at the button, run asynchronously, and you don't know what that means, go to Google, search what does runs asynchronously mean, and then you can, okay, oh, there's asynchronous whole world out there, which I didn't know about Salesforce. What does it mean? Why should I do that? And then you go to governor limits, like the difference between those synchronous and asynchronous. Okay, wow, maybe I can use that. Now there's other types. Now you can see, oh, what's a scheduled? What, maybe I can use that. And you have much more tools than just, you need to, elevate yourself from being an order taker to doubt the things that you are ask for. And that's like the biggest difference from the majority. When you get a task or something, when you get a request without really understanding the context behind it, without questioning, maybe you have a better way. If you just create a checklist, create a checkbox that does X, Y, Z. If you don't ask why checkbox, why don't we use a different? What is the purpose? What are they trying to do? If you don't do that, you are going to stay mediocre. So you have to always doubt everything and ask questions and try to be, just better every time. There's no end to it, right? You can learn endlessly and still know nothing.
I totally agree with you. I think everyone who is like born in like a different country, like maybe like a lot of people born in like poorer countries, if you happen to be born in like one of the countries that have some disadvantages, like for example not being a like an actual native English speaker, you have to compensate with something else, right? You have to, like, the same for me. Like English, I had to learn English. It's crazy, and I, like, to this day I make so many silly mistakes.
Yeah.
Like I could never memorize the difference between then and then.
Yeah.
Like those two words, like that. Like, oh my god, like I don't think I will ever be able to memorize the difference between them.
On, in, those are the, like, let's meet on Wednesday or at Wednesday at 2:00 in March, on March. Like, this is always got me confused.
Exactly. But nevertheless, you're writing a lot of like LinkedIn content with it,
Yeah.
right? Even though like even though that's not our main language, but we have to do that. How does LinkedIn help you? Like, does it help you to like in your career? What's your impression with it? Does it help you to like maintain this whole digital nomad style, or is it purely just like branding?
It's a good question. I've been posting regularly for about 1 year. Actually, yeah, I started May 2024. And to be completely honest and transparent, it didn't give me anything. Like, no job promotion, no crazy opportunities. I didn't meet any, great connections. But I know it will. And it takes time. That's the beauty of it. It takes time to build your network, to build relationships, to set your brand in just such a way that people think about you when something pops up. So I'm very patient, and I've been doing this 3 times a week for a year. So I just, and even if it doesn't do anything for my own benefit, that's fine. I feel like I do a great service and fulfill myself by giving this content to others, because I feel like I'm trying to spread my ideology, right? Kind of how to manage your Salesforce environment, the customer stakeholders in a better way, how to implement Salesforce in a better way. So even if I have no real dollar value from it, that's totally fine. I'm not. So yeah, I think maybe it's not the answer you were expecting, but that's the reality.
No, this is interesting, but I think you're just underestimating the impact. I think like a lot of this LinkedIn thing, it's like most people that read you, right? They don't really interact with you in any way, and like at some point, Like I remember, so I've been posting on LinkedIn for like 2 years, and I remember like for the first time I went on the like Salesforce conference or something, and someone went to me and said, "Ah, I read your post on LinkedIn," and I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And I think that's like the same thing. I think it's very hard to see it day to day, but it accumulates so much.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, LinkedIn showed me that I had last week or a week before that 110,000 impressions. That means 100,
In
yeah,
one
in a
week.
week. So 110 eyeballs saw my post. It means something. I'm just saying, like revenue wise, I didn't get anything from it, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with it. I know I make an impact. I know that I contribute. I know that someday people will know my name from it and remember that, okay, they have someone who really understands, or I hope so at least, really understands what he's talking about, and he can help us with our issue. Maybe that will happen soon. Maybe not. And again, that's okay.
100,000 is pretty cool. Like it's really good.
Yeah, it's not
really
every
good.
week, but
I
yeah.
yeah, I understand, but it's like like if I open my chart like growing up, I think I started with like 500 followers like a couple of years ago, and now I'm like at what 27, I don't know,
Yeah, that's cool.
something like this. It's not like it grows like a straight line. It always grows
Yeah.
spike and then goes down, spike, and this just line is like trending up all the time. So that's how this whole growth
Yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah. I also feel that.
Let's go back to your traveling. What were like what is the worst in this whole digital nomad life with the Salesforce, and what's the best?
Well, I think the worst is you constantly have heartbreaks from leaving people you get to know and you like. So we lived in Argentina for more than a year, and we got our community in a sense, in a sense, and we had, at some point we just leave, and people are not living with you, so you have to say goodbye, and you do it constantly. Like every country, there's at least a couple of people, and my wife is so social, it's crazy. Within a day in a new place, she already has like 3 best friends. So it's easy to get to know people and become good friends, and then you have to leave. But sometimes we meet again in different countries. Sometimes we go back, so it's really nice. But I would say that's the biggest disadvantage. The other disadvantage is the convenience. I don't have like look at your awesome office with your huge microphone and nice books in the background. This is just a place I'm staying at for a couple of weeks, right? I'm not gonna buy a microphone or carry with me books or have any, even a monitor. Sometimes only when I stay for long term for at least 2 or 3 months, I'll consider buying a monitor for my laptop. But otherwise, it's a 15-inch computer. That's it. That's all I have. So yeah, you need to get used to it for the constant inconvenience.
That's exactly why it sounds so terrible. So what do you like about it
Oh
then?
man, so much. Well, again, as you need to live with good people, you also get to meet good people. So that's really fun. You get to enjoy different cultures, right? You don't just think about it. You've moved the culture from Ukraine to Germany. So you did experience kind of a shift.
Yeah.
But think about the average person. He stays in his hometown or his home country for a lifetime. Maybe he goes out for 1 week, 2 weeks, a year to experience different places. I've experienced so many different cultures in the last 4 years, from European cultures, Latin American cultures, Middle Eastern cultures, and even in those places, there are so many kind of cultures coming up together. Digital nomads are usually somehow attracted to each other where they stay, so you get to meet different people. And I met people I wouldn't even think about could have even met the ground couldn't be like there were no common ground to even meet.
How expensive is it actually?
Yeah,
Sounds crazy expensive.
I
no?
mean, even in Germany, you can live frugally, like in very low budget, and you can be in Berlin in the highest towers, right? There's a higher range. So the same for digital nomading. You can travel every week. spend a lot of time on flights. You can book luxury Airbnbs and go to restaurants every day, and your budget will be crazy. Even if you're going to cheaper countries, it's still going to be expensive. Or you can, fly every couple of months. You can find long-term rental places. You can eat in a restaurant twice a week, once a week, and buy groceries and cook. So it really depends on your lifestyle.
I see. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Makes sense. Same as with just proper
Yeah.
travel, right? You can go travel crazy, or you can travel pretty normal
Exactly.
way. Do you have like a favorite country? Do you have favorite city? Mexico?
Actually, not Mexico. I do like Mexico, and I've been in many parts, but my favorite country so far is Buenos Aires. But the place
Okay.
is changing so fast because of the crisis, the economic crisis they had. So maybe the Buenos Aires I remember it's not the Buenos Aires existing today. So I don't know. But when I was there about 2 years ago, I had the best time. The city was so vibrant. The people are so nice and accepting. It was also for me, unfortunately for the locals, but for us, the foreigners, it was very cheap. Now it's not so, but so I had good people, cheap. Everything was cheap and cool city. It's like very European styled city. So I had great time there.
One thing that I actually super interested in is the super quick growth that you had, because I think you started around 2021, right,
Yeah.
With the Salesforce, and you basically grew from like just not knowing Salesforce to like managing to like being delivery, right, and being pretty like high up, being a senior and all of that. How did you manage to do that? Are there any secrets for people who are like listening to it and they're in the beginning, they first got their job and they want to grow as fast as possible? What would you suggest?
So there's no secret. It just put a lot of hard work. And it's not something that everybody would want to do or would like to do or has the strength and time to do, right? Some people has all kinds of shit going on in their life, so maybe it's not for them. But for me, I was so dedicated, so focused that those 4 or 5 years of experience, honestly, they're more like 8 to 10 years of experience, like work time wise. And again, I'm not promoting this kind of culture or lifestyle. It's not for everybody, and it's started to not be for me as well recently. But at the beginning, I used to work so much and gained so much experience. And it's not just that. When I was off the work, I used to learn about work, right? I read those, what I said earlier. I read the blogs, newsletters, I did courses, I did certifications. I did many certifications, but not just to have a certification. I really practiced it. I, opened the dev org and did all kinds of configuration to really know the things. And it's just hard work and a lot of time, right? And it's like putting pieces together. You don't really, from day one, you really cannot be senior because maybe you read something, maybe somebody told you about some trick, but you need to connect the pieces, and it takes time and knowledge. So this experience, after like learning that, and then after a year, I remember that and I learned something new. Suddenly things connected, and it's not 1+1=2. It becomes like equals 5. And then I implemented that, and I kept learning, and that's basically just keep this constant hunger to know more and get out of your comfort zone, right? Like I was an admin at my first, QA tester for a couple of weeks, and then admin at my first role. But I'd never okay, this is my lane. I'm going to stay here. I can't. Oh, they asked me something that I need to open a debug log. I can't do that. No, it's like, okay, let's see how I do it. Let's learn. Let's search for it. Let's open documentation and see what's on the back end, and asking for more challenging things like, okay, hey, I completed this task. Can I manage it the next time? All right. Can I take charge of this requirement completely? Can I design it? And like, who will say no? I mean, unless you're really bad and then you need to focus on something else. Unless who will say no for someone who wants to do more? It's like it doesn't ask for more money. It doesn't ask for more time off, right? It wants to do more for the company. Like, who would say no to that? So if you have that, you can really quickly give value. Okay, you need to give value, and then you will be valued.
What interesting for me was the your when you started learning to code, right? But then you learned it just enough to basically go and like lead the people, be able to speak to people. I think that's what like a lot of people want to do actually, instead of just going full being a complete developers for the full time.
Yeah.
Right. So how you didn't have coding experience before,
No.
right? So okay. So how was this to learn coding? How was it for you?
Well, it was really hard. I really couldn't grasp like what the hell is going on in the beginning. I started from a simple Udemy course, and then I started taking small projects, like kind of small tasks related to development. And it was so hard, and it was before AI. Okay, so it was like no assistant. But again, gradually, slowly, you do one method, one line of code more, one more. You understand one more syntax, and then it connects at some point. But honestly, like if you think about it, it really scares a lot of people to go into the development world, right? Like Salesforce, the bar to enter and become an admin is so low. That's why you have this saturated market of, sorry if I sound harsh, but so many mediocre people who think they will just do this certification and, hey, companies will cheer, hey, you're a Salesforce certified admin, come work for us, we'll pay you 100K, please come right now. It doesn't work like that. So if you have the extra value that you can add as an admin, I think development is a great skill. And again, not writing the code, that's leave to developers, but to debug, go to developer console, to find a bug related to an Apex class without writing it, just do troubleshooting it. And maybe it's some old class that you can, you can delete it and move it to a flow, for example, as an admin. Just understanding like what it does, right? Reading it gives you such a big advantage. And the second thing I want to say about this is that nowadays, flows, for example, are basically programming. I mean, I tell my our BA/consultant, right, our customer leads, don't do flows, don't build them. I have our implementation team, right? We have the admins, we train them, we rigorously review their implementations and make sure they are best practice, scalable, efficient, built correctly, synchronous, async, all of that. They are the developers of a flow. So let them, like you wouldn't touch Apex class, don't touch flow. Some of them are obviously also have the skills, so they can do it. I'm not restricting them, but the main point of the idea is it's a skill that you have to be good at, the same as development. So flows is not what it used to be, like workflow rules and process builders. Those were so basic and simple. Flows is a different level. It's a programming. So if you don't understand loops, if you don't understand the transaction, synchronous, asynchronous, if you don't understand the scheduling, if you don't understand all of that, if you don't understand like the governed limits, you will be bad at Apex as you will be bad at Flow. Okay, so those things are it's a programming language abstracted for the user. That's why You have, as an admin, you have already, if you understand, really truly understand flows, you have such a big already bridge towards Apex, and vice versa.
And right now, it's not enough to like be an admin that doesn't do flows, right?
Yeah, for most companies, I think like enterprises, this type of admin, resets passwords, adds a permission, maybe adds a component to the record page. That's a very basic level of admin, and this is like maybe the traditional admin. Nowadays, admins are expected to build flows. Honestly, that's crazy. I mean, it's you can't be an admin without being flow, but also expecting to know that so well just from this low level of certification is also unrealistic. So it needs to be like a kind of certification in its own, in a way. Not Salesforce certification, but like the company grants you the permission to build flows. Not every admin out of the box, in a way, has this ability.
And it's crazy how like how the work of an admin basically changed from 4 or 5
Yeah.
years ago, right? When you think about what we meant when we said like a Salesforce administrator 4 or 5 years ago, it was one thing. Now it's kind of more of a like half of a developer role, because you cannot call someone a complete no code administrator if they can do very well flows.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're basically doing programming at this point.
Definitely. And I think that the term admin is so confusing, and everybody means something else when he's saying admin. So the role is just not what it used to be. And there's admin in a traditional way where you just, manage the environment in a basic level. Like I said, permission sets, maybe reset password and stuff like that. And you have UI developers, or drag and drop developers, which are flows. I really don't see it anymore as the same role, to be honest.
Totally. Which is kind of also cool, because like I'm teaching Salesforce development, right? So I see when people come to me, and if a person is really good with the flow, I know that this person will pick up Apex or LWC JavaScript relatively quick. Because essentially you understand the concepts, right? Like the concept of a loop is a very abstract concept, and you need to understand it as a concept first. And then no matter where you apply this concept, be it Apex or Flow, you will understand it pretty well.
Exactly. Yeah. Salesforce is a software. On the back end, it's a code, whether you like it or not. Every click, every component you drag to the UI, it's a code in the back end. So you just need to understand and reuse that. Like the platform abstracts it for you, simplifies it for you, but it's still code. So if you understand that, you have so much more, advantage than others.
I think it's actually a very cool insight. Like my brain immediately went like with the light bulb that it would be a great LinkedIn post that Salesforce is still everything is code.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So, but the reason why I don't speak, I usually don't speak about like particular topics in Salesforce, like LWC or something, because I kind of think that they are so irrelevant for the career. Because, like imagine if someone wants to get better at their career, right? They want to advance more. What exactly they're going to learn? They're going to figure it out, right? What I think is more important is this type of like mindset. What exactly, how do you approach things? What do you do, right? Like this hunger that you said, I think this is probably the most important thing. And like, if you apply the principles that you outlined, be hungry, be proactive, always attack first the tasks, like work a lot. Doesn't matter what exactly you learn, right? Be it administration, business analyst, sales, building on business, or Apex, it's always just gonna win.
It's the technical side of things. That's just learn it. But the approach, the mindset, that's what's different. The exceptional ones. I agree completely.
I agree here too. I think that was nice. I think we can wrap it up with this one, because that was a really good ending. Is there anything else I missed that you would love to talk about?
No, I think we covered a lot of topics. It was really good talking with you, Igor. I am a big fan of your content. especially, I remember really good the carousel on LinkedIn that you made about future methods, and it was like that was like
that was a short one with just like 3 slides, right?
it was really good and to the point. And I remember like talking with one of our developers that he wanted to create a future method. He created a future method, and I was like, hey, why don't we use Qubel? Why do you use future method? He said, why not? And I just sent him your post, and he went, okay, fine, let's do it.
Nice.
So it made an impact. See,
So
I talked about earlier.
yeah, I could prevent one bad future method to being created. I think that's
Yeah.
a win.